tell us how you teach the MicroSociety concept. What does that really mean when the kids go to school?
Well, the MicroSociety piece is a specific block of the day. It's the end of our day, but it's also integrated throughout the full school day. Students have their own miniature society there's a student government with elected officials, representatives, senators, president, vice president. There's a peacekeeper agency, which is much like a police officer. We have a court. There is a bank. We have our own currency that the students earn and then can spend on their days off. So the students learn how to apply a lot of those skills that they're using throughout the day.
And it allows any age, any student to shine at something they're good at or try something new.
The level of engagement and the reason why kids come to school has turned. So my first year here, we didn't have MicroSociety. The kids wanted it, they've heard about it, and each year that we've implemented it and grew it a little bit more, you can see the levels of engagement in terms of our numbers for attendance, the numbers of referrals went down. Like, that was the highlight of the day.
So last week we had our first ever Bring Your Parent to Work Day. And we had 76 parents that attended, and we're just blown away and amazed by what their children were able to do. So an example is this kindergarten parent that came up to me and said, "Miss Mejia, this kind of made me feel bad." And I said, "What do you mean made you feel bad?" She's like, "I kind of underestimated what my child was capable of doing. Seeing her work and this business and this venture and get a check and go to the bank and cash it. I had no clue that my child, who's a pre-K-er, was able to do these things." And I said, "Well, you shouldn't feel bad. You're just viewing her in a different light than what you do as a parent." It's a hard thing to explain unless you see it, live it, breathe it.
So in addition to the services that a bank normally offers, we also offer to places
Community's still wrapping their head around it. Like, kids are actually doing this. Like, I wish I had this.
You will be using the cue cards.
Initially, I was very hesitant about MicroSociety. It was my first year as a school leader, and I had all of this anxiety and nervousness in terms of what does micro look like in the classroom, and how does it help teachers facilitate instruction in an effective manner that is conducive to student needs.
Yes, it's more work in terms of a teacher having to change her mindset, but when they do it 2 or 3 years, it's less work because it's now like, oh, I can turn it over to the student.
If you had asked me that question probably about 4 to 5 years ago, I probably would have said, after I looked at the curriculum, maybe this is going to be a little difficult. However, very quickly I found that it made my teaching and my teaching experience and my journey so much easier because my students took charge. I became just a facilitator in the classroom. I was able to kind of just stand back and have them run the classroom. They knew the standards that we were working on in relation to the Common Core. They were able to create their own activities, and this is all with MicroSociety.
I love being able to share my own opinion and making sure that others not only hear my opinion, but also have their own opinion. So we do a lot of voting and a lot of surveys, so that way everybody feels included.
One of the parents said, "My kid comes home every day talking about micro, and I can't believe they get a period to play every day," was this parent's concept. And when she came in and she saw it in action, she's like, wow, she's like, I had no clue that all this was what was going on.
Our biggest challenge is taking away some of these misconceptions that it's somewhat of a game where they're not understanding the research and the aspects that go into these things to making a value decision.
People say, well, kids play all day, and they don't really understand what goes on. When children come into kindergarten, they do a story about me. Well, what we do through MicroSociety is we turn that story into a resume, and we show them the value of how to express themselves, and we follow the curriculum. So now they're learning different kinds of language and skills that they wouldn't have. We partner with the Federal Savings Bank, and they came in and they thought they were going to teach the children things about banking. They learned about banking from 6 and 7-year-olds.
Hello, my name is Carson. I work at Stocks and Bonds, and we perform a virtual stock market for Emerald City.
We've told them, come to us if you need help. So if they don't come to us, then it's on them.
They just have to honor the contract?
We have people that go out and try to get us customers. They have clients and they have folders and everything, and they can buy and sell stocks there with them on the spot. And then we have financial advisors that advise stocks for people to buy. And we have managers that supervise everything. And then we have price evaluators as myself, and that's pretty much the function.
7th and 8th graders are having conversations that some adults don't have. Some high schools I go to don't cover any of the information that a 6th grader can carry on a conversation with 30 minutes over the reasons for diversification or EBITDA or anything in terms of valuation of companies and corporations.
So I took over this school as a focus school from the state. And we were a failing school. We had 3 years to turn it around or we would risk being taken over. And sitting there and drilling them on test prep was not really changing anything. George Richmond was very big in saying that students needed to know the why. My first thing was bringing back the micro. I liked the fact that it would focus the teachers on really looking at how they were going to develop skills in students. We hit the ground running. We were featured in a lot of magazines nationwide, so I think the word has gotten out. We have a waiting list. Parents are clamoring to get in.
The teachers here are basically facilitators. They're not drill and kill, they're not standing up in front of the classrooms. We still have to do Common Core and all those other kinds of things, but things are realistic to them. They understand why you interview, what you have to do, what it takes to be a bank manager, what it takes to be a business manager. All of these different roles that they take, and they find themselves seriously in them. It speaks volumes to people outside of the school because we have a waiting list. They want to get in. And when they come and visit and they see that the children are truly doing what our mission is, to get them prepared to go out into the world, when they leave as 8th graders, they will be well prepared and very competitive with everyone. And our academics prove that we're doing everything everyone else does, but in a different way.